Why is it that some people continue to struggle? They want to set realistic goals. They want to achieve, but yet it doesn't happen, right? Every year they're like, I'm going to be different this year. I mean, I get this a lot with my patients as a psychologist, and a lot of them really struggle with setting realistic goals and actually achieving them. So why is that? Why is it that some people have such a hard time with that? And have you wondered why is it that some people work really hard and they try really hard, but they're still not as successful as they should be, or they could be in their lives or in their relationships? So the answer obviously has to do with our mindset. It has to do with our subconscious programming. A lot of us are programmed at the age of 4 or 5, and then we continue to operate under that programming as adults, and we're not even aware that this is affecting us and this is impacting us. So we need to change our mindset at the subconscious level. And one of the ways that we can do that, obviously repetition is one way we can change our mindset and change our programming. Another way to do it is through consistent visualization. And you get as clear as possible when you're visualizing what is it that you want out of life. Obviously, we don't want to focus on everything. We want to focus on the things that really, really matter. It's like the little pivots that we make in our lives that make a huge impact on changing the direction of our lives. So visualization, we're doing it all the time. And we have up to 60,000 thoughts a day. And we're not even aware of all the negative, horrible thoughts we're having. Once I learned about the law of attraction and how our thoughts are so powerful, I even pray differently now. Where people with anxiety, which I tend to have, we tend to be very much about, oh God, don't let this happen, right? Don't let this happen. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to be late. I don't want to get in a car accident. I don't want this. But that's not what you want because your thoughts are super powerful. You want to focus on what you actually do want. So focus on having good health. Pray for things that you want to see happen because that is what's you're going to manifest that. Whether you believe it or not, I truly believe that it is like a law like gravity. Whether you believe in the law of attraction or not, if you look back on it, you'll notice that you have manifested. I've manifested the bad and the good. The things that I've been deathly afraid of happening have happened, and the things that I've really wanted have happened. I remember one time my cousin's like, I was really like, my husband never brings me flowers. I really wanted some flowers. And all of a sudden she goes home and out of nowhere, he brings her flowers. And I remember one time my aunt was talking about how she's like, I just wanted cherries. I was really craving cherries. And she goes home and there's cherries for her. And I mean, think about things that have any of you guys had moments like that?
Hi, everyone. My name is Delilah. And just to piggyback off of what you said, that is totally true. I started learning about the law of attraction and how to manifest and use my thoughts. So, real quick, I had wanted some cereal before. I wanted some cornflakes, and and I went to the store. I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I forgot to get my cornflakes. So, someone next to me had their cornflakes. I said, "Oh, that's right. I forgot to get cornflakes, but I got to get back to work because my lunch hour was up." And I said, "Gosh," I don't know if I just used my energy without knowing it. I said, "I really want those." I said, "Oh, well, I'll just get them later." I gets to my car, and the guy comes out and he says, "I got these by mistake. Do you want these?" I was I was so scared. I said, "Oh, sure, yeah." He's like, "My kids don't eat the sweet ones. They wanted." He had frosted flakes, and they like corn flakes, just the regular with no sugar. And I got back to my desk. I was so scared, and I was checking the box. I'm like, "Is this real?" I mean, I was just looking around like, "Oh my goodness, manifestation is very real, people." I mean, if you put your mind to it, and just like she said with the visualization, I've learned to I've worked on like energy work, how to project energy because we're all energy beings, and it manifests. It really works. And like you said, repetitious and holding that thought, and you put it out there. But I think the thing is to let go. It's in the letting go. Because if you just keep holding it, you're telling the universe, I don't have it, I don't have it. But when you put it out there and you let it go, that's why sometimes so many amazing things happen when we let go. You'll pray for something like, oh, I did pray for that. I forgot. You got to forget about it. You got to let it go do its work.
Well, somebody made a good comment. Like when you order from a catalog, you're not constantly checking to see it's coming. You made an order and you know it's going to be there.
Yeah.
You trust God the same way. And you just say, okay, put in this order, put in this request. But be mindful about what you're constantly telling yourself, because that is also visualization. If I'm constantly focused on being sick, or constantly being afraid of being sick, or constantly focused on illness, then then you realize, oh my gosh, I've been manifesting a lot of this stuff. But when I start focusing on being healthy, then I'm going to do things differently, because all of a sudden my whole focus changes. And so most of our actions are 90% of it is nonverbal, and it's all subconscious. And we need to become more aware. And that's why it's called a practice. We have to regularly practice visualization, regularly practice mindfulness in order for this to become automatic. Ever since, like I said, I learned that and once you become magnetic, then you get kind of scared, like her, like you were saying, Delilah, that, then you start attracting negative too. One time I literally attracted the negative. It was my first time when I first moved here. I had moved here and I'd never been to Tucson, and I had to go there for I think it's an ASPA conference was in Tucson. And I was terrified. I was like, I don't know how to drive to Tucson by myself. Nobody else will go with me. And I was so scared that it took me 4 hours to get there instead of two, because there was an accident on the road. Somebody had driven, not that I caused any of that, but it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Everything that I was afraid was going to happen ended up happening. By the time I got to that conference, my legs were all wobbly. I felt like I had driven to LA, and I was like, I'm not in the mood to be here anymore. So yes, so the visualization is very powerful, and we need to practice that more. I'm sure if you look back on your lives, you've come so far, but we don't give ourselves credit, because it's always that gap, because we're not where we want to be. Like all you students here, you don't have your doctorate yet, or some of you do, but you're not practicing yet. But you forget how far you've come and how much you've endured in your graduate program, or how much we've come in our careers. So that gap is important for us to stop and appreciate that we might not be where we want to go, but we're definitely on the right track. And that's important to acknowledge. I want to focus on the ripple effect. The ripple effect is really important, because we don't realize how me changing my life can impact my daughter, can impact my coworkers, can impact my patients. And so it's really important to ask yourself, if I commit to me, how will my life change? Will I be more focused? Will I be more inspired, more motivated, more energized? But if my children see me making these impacts, these changes, how will it impact them? How are my parents, are they going to see me as more focused, more stable, and they're going to be more relaxed knowing I'm on the right path? And then my coworkers and my patients, how are they seeing me? Are they going to be inspired by my changes as well? But you know what? There's always the negative side of this as well. When we don't do these things, when we don't take care of ourselves, that also impacts our family. It's not just about us. Like you talked about, Delilah, that we're all energy, we're all connected. It's a web. And when we do something, it impacts, but it's like a circle, and you end up impacting the circle just keeps going wider and wider, and we end up impacting more people. So if I'm not taking care of myself, and I'm grouchy and I'm upset and I'm angry all the time, I'm going to go and yell at a department store person. And then make her day bad, or I'm going to go and just yell at people on the road or whatever, and just be really angry all the time. So our behavior and our mental health truly does impact other people as well. I remember when my daughter was really young, that the whole idea of being on a plane and helping myself before helping her with the oxygen mask, I was like, that's crazy. I would definitely want to save her before me. She's got more life, but I can't help her if I'm sick or dying, right? So of course I have to help myself first. And if I'm taking care of my mental health, then I show up as a better version of myself to those people around me as well. So there's a negative ripple effect as well. So it definitely does impact us.